Okay, hi. Welcome to the weekly Outlook stream where we basically go over charts, go over pairs, and maybe plot our assumptions and what we are looking forward to in the week. So let's just get into it. Yeah. Let's start by looking at the news events for the upcoming week. 20th, 24th, yeah. So we basically have a lot of GU and EU newses, European Union newses, but not much USD newses. We have obviously have the unemployment claims on Thursday and the 10 p.m. New York session news PMI, and we have the CAD CPI as well. So yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah, and okay, so let's start with the dollar index DXY. Yeah. Um, let's jump on to the monthly. Okay. So last November, this candle, this is a very big, almost a 2 year range now. And this candle last November, the way it rejected of like the 2023 October highs, I thought that this was going to be a very evident and a very sure short trend change, but didn't happen. We even got a strong weekly close, but since then, the entirety of December and whatever we have had of January have gone upwards. And now the question is, will it continue and take these highs, the 114s, or will it just consolidate and come back into this range? Maybe like have a proper deviation here and then just fall back into this range. So I'm not going to change my biases as of now because I don't have any concrete proof on the high time frame as well as on the lower time frames, because this chart just seems to keep on going up and I just don't want to lose my money like making taking bets where there is just no higher time frame confluence basically. What I really want to see here is on the weekly. We've had a inside range candle last week. We almost had an inside range candle the week before that as well, but this week was a completely inside range candle, and we swept the highs, but very indecisive candle. What I really want to see is this fair value gap coinciding with this order block, this bullish order block, being tapped into these extended lows being taken out and then getting a continuation from here, something like this, like we go down, we have this, and then obviously like whatever like plot here will pan out in at least 2 months if this is supposed to happen. But the more realistic and the more shorter time frame approach on the daily, as we can see, we've had a consolidating week, a very concise tight range. We've swept previous week's highs, but since then we've just consolidated very tightly. Friday we saw a bounce up, but what I really want to see for continuation on the daily and the weekly, I want to see this fair value gap being tapped, prices piercing the 107 levels. But on the daily, I want to see this Wednesday low, this CPI candle being taken out, because as long as we're almost trading inside that CPI candle, as long as we're going to trade inside that candle, I think it's very dicey, very restrictive price action, and Yeah, I need to see the sweep of this low, and that would be a very good setup, or at least a high time frame confluence for me to trade in. Maybe see some accumulation, market make a buy model, and towards the upside, towards these highs, around 110 point something. And so yeah, that's my outlook for DXY on the 4 hour, the intra-day levels. As I'm saying, I needs a sweep because these candles very indecisive, very big wicks, uh, rejecting of the highs and whatnot. After the CPI release, strong rejection of these lows, this daily fair value gap also being filled and being reacted so well off of it. I took a short on Euro USD coherent with this, which I'll talk about, which I got stopped out of. Not stopped out, but closed the short on Euro USD. I'll explain it when we go through that pair. But yeah, I need to see something like this is a proper deviation, a proper range bound price action, not even a percent movement in a single direction in almost Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, even Tuesday. So the entire week after Monday, we've seen very less continuation. So I need to see some strong maybe manipulation inside after this consolidation to get into any longs or at least develop some ideas about it. Going on the Euro USD chart. Uh, my bad, my bad. Yeah, same outlook on the Euro USD chart. This is like, see, we've had a very strong uh, very strong down candles. Obviously, I exactly the opposite of what I was looking in DXY. uh, Rejection of these lows, the November candle. But we overpowered that entire rejection and we are continuing downwards. I don't know what's next. Don't have any higher time frame, macro targets, but anything is possible. And I would not want to be the one to be caught trying to find the bottom somewhere here so I can just trade for months and months upside. I'm going to trade, uh, take shots in this range until and unless I find a higher time frame or even intermediate time frame, maybe the 4 hours, maybe the 12 hours, maybe the daily, at least that to sh- change of order flow on those time frames to show that there is some potential upside or the price is rejecting from certain levels. But as of now, we have had very strong down close candles. Price has respected these levels very well. We have a weekly order block here, pierced the highs once, then these highs were swept again, and since then we've had very strong down candles where the price has respected each and every down close candle and every uh, premium array really well. So yeah, uh, yeah, last week again, almost a mirror image of what I am seeing here. The difference in DXY and in this chart is that in DXY we at least saw a continuation of structure on the daily. We didn't have a rejection of these highs. I mean, we at least closed above these highs, but on my bad, but on Euro USD, we pretty much had a rejection of these lows, and then price is stuck in a very dicey range to say the least, because we are obviously in a very evident downtrend for the past quarter or so, maybe more than a quarter now. But at the same time, uh, I don't like trading in an environment where I have no clear order flow as such. Like there's this candle right here, this rejection right on the open of the week got me really dicey because I need to see a strong close under these lows. But at the same time, I really don't have any evidence that the price will push higher from these levels. Again, I'm looking for the same thing here. This CPI candle and this basically previous week's range. I want to see a sweep of the Wednesday high, the previous week high, and good shift in order flow on the lower time frames to get into or maybe formulate a trade idea. But other than that, not very clear price action as of now, which I can point out to and say that yes, I'm going to definitely find a trade in it next week. Uh, yeah, so last week, coherent with DXY, uh, DXY swept the lows, and I saw this sweeping these highs. Took a small shot here and a small shot around this region. In just a moment. Something like this. And yeah, the price just consolidated from after that point. The price completely consolidated, and I uh, after Thursday, like Friday, I just place my stops here. Like I'm going to trim my trade if the price is not showing rejection after that, or at least like the price doesn't break down and goes lower. And yeah, it swept these highs, got a very good rejection, but very tight consolidation and a very dicey range for me to have very strong conviction in my own idea. So I guess got stopped out or just cut my trade here and took some loss. I think that's better than regretting uh, after holding a trade where you had no conviction in it. Moving to GU, pound, pound. Yeah, so relatively more clearer chart, which is very rare to see in pound. Pound being relatively clearer to Euro USD is a bit of a surprise to me. But again, we last year's highs, July highs, taken out, deviation here, price breaks down, and fourth month where the price continues to go lower. I like this chart a bit more as compared to Euro USD only because on the weekly I have an external range liquidity marked out. Like I have my higher time frame targets where the price can break down and run towards. Because on Euro USD, I don't really have anything as such. Like I'm going with the flow because like three big candles and like the price is breaking down and no confirmation as such or change in order flow on the lower time frames. But here I really have good strong conviction in my idea that price will run towards the external range liquidity. And on the weekly, price looks fairly decent as well because we have this indecisive candle with like very small body and large wick, uh, indicating a very consolidating range as we can see here. And price has left bearish fair value gap as well, which if tapped into on the daily, or even if I go on the 4 hour to explain my idea which I'm looking for the next week. Something like this, consolidating, breaking down. So, like a market maker sell model, maybe. Plus, we have really reactive EU and GU newses. We have red folder GU newses all spread all across the week. Even red folder EU newses. So, something to keep an eye on if something like this plays out. A very simple AMD or a market maker model where we can position ourselves and look forward to the high time frame targets. I think it'll be a very one of the trades that I'm looking forward to next week. Other than that, Australian dollar. Um, a bit of a dicey one as well because here we have these lows which have been swept. Now, I don't know if we'll get a rejection and the price will shoot up, or if the price continues to go down, or if a price shows a proper deviation, something like this here across a few months. It's very difficult to tell right now because even right now, the monthly candle has almost 2 weeks to close. So, not going to try to find the bottom again and just go on uh, with the bias as of now towards the downside. Um, on the weekly, again, this fair value gap tapped into it very well. Very, very simple, very beautifully tapped into it and traded downwards. The only unlucky thing was that I wasn't able to find any trades or position myself according to my rules in this whole down leg. But yeah, at least the price was following your price action or your read of the markets was more or less spot on. That is something. But yeah, we've had this deviation here. This was maybe a change in order flow, but this is sweep. I thought if the price swept these lows, and formed a setup, then I would have been very, I would be looking into it, maybe trying to get into that trade. But the invalidation of these candles and sweep of these lows makes it not really likely, although I was still deciding if I want to or if I don't want to get into that trade. But yeah, uh, sweep of these lows, and on the 1 hour we saw a change in order flow as well, and this can be a trade idea which can work out, although I am not at all interested in getting into it. I did have my opportunity, but the thing is that this trade formed outside of my like the time zone or the stipulation that I have when I trade. Time wise, this was outside my particular time bracket that I'm looking at, and yeah, this it has a very high possibility that it just reacts on this fair value gap on the hourly, and then just goes up and takes out these highs. But on Friday when this sweep happened, the sweep happened around 10 a.m. New York session time, and then around 12 I got the entry, but neither did I have any plans of carrying a trade or an idea across the weekend. And Friday is usually a very restrictive day for me as well. Friday and Monday, because I have a set of uh, a checklist basically that I'm looking for, or and all the conditions, if they're met, then Mondays and Fridays are more eloquent to trade, more desirable to trade actually. Uh, but yeah, on the NZ dollar, more or less similar chart. The only thing is that we still have these lows unswept. Anything can happen. Maybe this is goes up from it, up from this point, and on the NZ, we see a deviation of these lows. Sorry, we see an SMT here. We basically see an SMT here, and these lows are not swept at all. Or maybe we go a bit lower on the uh, Australian dollar, and NZ sweeps these lows, and then maybe it reacts, or maybe it doesn't react at all, and both the pairs keep on going lower. Again, we have no uh, solid proof. The candles are telling us nothing at all, just signs that it might go downwards. More preferable pair, again, as I said, as I compared between Euro and GU, that in GU we have an external range liquidity, we have some lows which are unswept, and the price more or less will trickle down towards those lows and sweep them. And this is exactly what I'm when I am looking at both Australian and New Zealand dollar. NZ basically looks like more of a, I have a bit more conviction that yes, I still have these lows and I can probably plot or form some ideas. Again, fair value gap open on the weekly, which was tapped into once, but no trade found here as well. So what I'm looking at is uh, this is order block as well. And what I'm really looking at is maybe again the Wednesday highs. So maybe a sweep of those Wednesday highs inside this order block, which will be a really great trigger for me to get into a swing trade or basically a weekly trade. I might go down to the 1 hour and uh, see something like this happening. Consolidation, change in order flow, and price trickling down from here towards these external range lows. This is something that I am looking at, not even anticipating or wishing for, but something that I'll be interested in if this pans out. Either of these eyes, or maybe we have a very tight consolidating range this week as well, and we find ourselves trading back into this fair value gap where we again sweep. So basically, creating a double sweep of these highs inside this fair value gap, and then maybe form an idea on the 4 hour, like something like this. Again, a completely consolidating range. Ah, shit. Yeah. So we have this sweep, and then we go down from here. So these squiggly lines are basically meant to show my anticipation of if we are supposed to go down, we might either sweep these highs or these highs. We can definitely go down directly from here as well. But this is something that I will be interested in if it happens. USD CAD again, not a very happening pair for me, but still following price action. Just a moment. Monthly, we have these uh, unswept, almost equal highs. Price is slowly trickling towards it. On the weekly, we are in the top half of the range. If we call this our range, monthly only. On the monthly, if we call this our range, this our range, then we are like in the top quarter. If we divide the entire range into like 4 quarters, we are in the topmost quarter, 75 to 25%, 75 to 100% area, sorry. And this area is the most reactive. These, the most topmost and the bottommost quarters are the most reactive areas. See, we had a sweep of these lows and price has since moved up. The topmost and the bottommost areas of the range is the most reactive. The 0 to 25 and the 75 to 100% areas of the range are the most reactive. The amount of consolidation happens around the equilibrium, which is the 50% area. See, a very strong, almost this is like this is almost 1.5 2 years of consolidation happened where right around the equilibrium. So just something that I have discovered, not even discovered, I haven't discovered it at all. There are a lot of people who have talked about this before me today, but this is something that I have heard as well as back tested a lot of times in on the charts. So yeah, again, sweep of these highs and price is going up. I don't have any trade ideas here. We have actually completed the entire range as well. As long as these lows are intact, I don't have anything on the USD Canadian dollar. Moving forward to USD chef Swiss franc. Again, entire range. This is an entire range. This is a almost like what, for 5 months of range, 5 month long range where we're basically from 0 to 100. And this is the initial consolidation which happens in any market maker model. But after that, you can see 0 to 50%, 0 to 25%, we see a movement here. The only consolidation, strong visible consolidation in this range is around the equilibrium. Other than that, we are moving upwards, and this is a higher time frame external range liquidity area. We have a weekly order block, strong bullish order flow. Again, on this also, I am looking for this is daily order block. My bad, and uh, strong bullish order flow on the daily, weekly, and the monthly. So we have very strong high time frame confluence, which tells us that the market is bullish on the macro level. Other than that, I am looking for this Wednesday low to be swept, and more or less similar ideas. I need this CPI candle or the CPI weeks range to be broken somehow. If it breaks to the downside and sweeps the lows of the previous range, I might be interested. It's possible that it directly blasts up from here. Then again, it will break the range. As I said, I want to see it breaking that range, but I won't be interested. I might be interested if I see some manipulation of these lows, the CPI candle lows. That's all. So USD JPY, again, uh, this is a weekly fair value gap. More or less swept the highs of the week, but yeah, not really strong order flow on the weekly, but on the daily, this has closed well and above the weekly, this suspended high. On the weekly, uh, obviously, three strong consolidating weeks. This is the fourth one. This previous week was the fourth consolidating week, But and we saw a sweep of that entire consolidation into this bullish fair value gap. But at the same point, this doesn't look so nice on the daily because look at the strong downside candle on Thursday, and then almost equally opposing candle on Friday. I don't know. Just doesn't seem right. Just doesn't give me enough conviction because I wanted to see something like this candle here, like a rejected bullish candle where the price goes down and is pushed up. Something here, some orders that are being triggered, some liquidity that is being absorbed and taken as fuel to maybe go towards these highs and these highs eventually. Um, okay, and that minors in minor pairs and exotic pairs. Clear order flow even on the higher time frame, rejecting from the highs and the lows, and yeah, on the daily it has very strong rejection. Not even a strong rejection, but yeah, something to see inside an order block as well. Previous week lows are being swept inside an order block, but nothing as such. GBP CAD again, monthly is like trending more or less, and other than that, on the weekly, we have this range which has again trapped order flow. Uh, Highs are being rejected as well as the lows, and yeah, nothing to get me interested in these exotic pairs as of now. Price has rejected and consolidated for the entirety of the week. So I'm pretty sure this entire consolidation will see a manipulation as well. If it is bound to go up, or it might just price might just break towards the downside from here only. But this consolidation is bound to be swept. Um, Euro NZ, nothing here as well. Let me just okay, sweep of the weekly lows inside that range. Very no trade as such for me here as well. Um, Again, JPY pairs. This might be something that uh, proper market maker model we are seeing here. Maybe a sweep of these highs and a change in order flow on the lower time frame, like on the 5 or the 15 minute basically. Yeah, I don't really trade 5 minute as such, but yeah, maybe some consolidation here, maybe Monday consolidation, and then a Monday range play, something like that. But nothing convincing really here. This range has been completed and swept. I don't know. Okay, moving to the indices. Um, Seems to be going up for a very long while now, since this 2022 consolidation, downside consolidation basically. Downwards, I won't even call it a trend, but yeah, downwards movement where the price almost corrected uh, almost 40% in an entire year, which is pretty absurd because since then price has literally went almost 2x, and this is a indice, like we're talking about a entire first world nation. That's just absurd. But yeah, um, on the weekly on the weekly we are inside a order block, and we've seen a manipulation of like a tight, not a tight consolidation, but yeah, not really. Uh, s- Basically, the price didn't have any displacement in it for the entirety of January, entirety of December, and whatever we've had of January. But yes, we have swept these lows, and the price has reacted from it pretty well. What I want to see is maybe something on these lines. Maybe the price sweeps these lows, consolidates for a few days, then sweeps these lows inside this order block and this fair value gap, then gives us something here, a trade maybe, which would not look that bad. I think that is something that I'll be looking forward to. A very simple idea, a sweep of these lows inside this fair value gap, which coincides with a intermediate time frame order block as well, and we just already have we have our intermediate and higher time frame or order flow aligned with each other. We just need opportunity to maybe formulate a day trade. And on SPX as well, um, weekly I'm looking at the same, swept these lows, then got rejected, and then again these lows are swept inside an order block, and we do have these lows which I'm looking forward to, not these. Again, the Thursday lows and this entire fair value gap which has been left open. Maybe price trickles down, touches this fair value gap, forms a very nice sweep of these lows, and then we can maybe position ourselves to take advantage of this upwards movement. Other than that, gold. Gold is gold has gold always gives me something unpredictable, completely difficult to predict what is going to happen on the gold chart in future. But yeah, um, basically these lows were rejected, tapped into the fair value gap, went upwards, very strong bullish candle, and then these lows were rejected, and pretty much if you see on the lower time frame, we can call it a deviation here. We have had a deviation, and price has since then moved upwards as well as respected every down close candle and every P-day array, which gives us a very strong sign that gold is in a bullish, we can form a bullish bias on gold, and the order flow is being respected beautifully. But I was looking to maybe have a short bias from this point, but it completely smashed through these arrays and went on higher. Uh, didn't take this trade. I wish I did, but I didn't. Uh, yeah, I was looking for on the on the on Thursday. I was looking for like maybe a retracement back and a sweep of this. Just have a maybe just get a turtle soup entry here, but didn't happen. Otherwise, gold has very beautifully respected the price action, and yeah, probably looking for some consolidation here and some continuation. Similarly, on silver, uh, on the weekly, we have strong rejection from this weekly fair value gap. Didn't close under this fair value gap. All the bodies have closed in and above of this fair value gap. Price went through the fair value gap and rejected very strongly on the weekly. Since then, we've had a bullish daily order flow. Um, no biases as such in silver. I rarely trade silver. I was looking for a trade last week on Thursday, but yeah, wait, I'll explain it. But on the daily in silver, I want to see some consolidation, maybe a week's consolidation. I don't know, but if I want to get into a sweep continuation, then I need to see some consolidation and then break of that consolidation, manipulation in that consolidation, and continuation of the higher time frame bullish order flow. But other than that, I don't see much here. On Thursday, yes, so we had on the 4 hour we swept the lows, tapped into this fair value gap. Uh, yeah, and I was looking on the 5 minute time frame, and that's when I said that I don't trade 5 minute time frame, but I had a lot of conviction in this idea and still didn't trade it. So, but yeah, a change in order flow on the 5 minute and a turtle soup entry here, rejection of these lows, maybe entering somewhere here on this candle, and then I mean pretty accurate 2 hour maybe just under it. Yeah, would have been a good trade, good day trade, but didn't have that much conviction on the 5 minute change in order flow, as well as this price action didn't look that promising. I don't like to see a lot of wicks and a lot of rejection, or even like dicey and consolidating candles uh, around the region where I'm looking for a change in order flow. Like these are a lot of consolidating and dicey. Like see, these candles have a lot of rejection of the highs and consolidation here. I want to see strong displacement, and that will give me more conviction that yes, this change in order flow is pretty solid. Okay, other than that, US oil, my bad. Weekly US oil, yeah. Okay, yeah. So I think this is a pure consolidation. I don't really have anything here. This is a new week open gap, and price has really got a lot of support from it. Rejected off of it here once, twice, and tapped into it once on Friday as well. Let's see, maybe I want to see some consolidation and then sweep of these lows as well to position myself into some longs. But other than that, uh, I don't have anything on US oil as of now. Um, let's get into crypto. Okay. Um, took a few trades. Took one trade yesterday only in ETH. Got stopped out right before I uh, got started with this video, and took a trade on Thursday in BTC as well, and that hit my target pretty comfortably. Um, yeah, so again, if I look into the weekly rejection of these lows, price has reacted beautifully. Um, on the daily, we have a double sweep inside a daily order block. Um, on the 4 hour, we had a very strong, evident shift in order flow on the 4 hour. See, this is the kind of candle I want to see. This is like a very strong displacement, and the fair value gap forming a fair leaving a fair value gap behind during a change in order flow is golden. It will never, like, not never, but like at least 60 or 70% of the times it will work pretty well. Left a fair value gap behind, that gap got filled as well as pushed price higher, made a rejection candle here, and since then the price has gone higher. On the 4 hour, had this gap, the gap got filled, good rejection of this fair value gap, and on the 1 hour, proper deviation going down to the 15-minute time frame where I could see good candles giving me the market structure, break in market structure, or the change in order flow, whatever you would like to call, and change in order flow along with the fair value gap. See, works pretty well. Price tapped into it once. I took entry later when I saw the price here was not at my screen when I was taking the entry. But yeah, uh, took an entry here, took some profit, half the profit at 2 hour, around 102, 800, yeah, and took all of it off around 104, 500, yeah. So this worked out pretty well. And what are my expectations for the upcoming week? I mean, I don't really have a lot of trust on the weekend price movements. I really want to see some consolidation here, Monday consolidation as well, and then a sweep of the Monday lows around Tuesday or something, and then rejection of these lows, and then price continuing higher, because I want to see this range. This was my first target, which was price basically went through it completely, and what I want to see is price going maybe a new high in this leg is very possible, very evident. So yeah, targeting the 108,000 mark is something that I would be looking for, with a sweep of these lows and price moving towards those highs. On the ETH chart, moving to the ETH chart, got stopped out like a few hours before recording this video. Uh, Very similar higher time frame idea. This consolidation, massive mega candle, left a very uh, big fair value gap. Price rejected off of these lows, and price rejected off these lows as well. But this tapped into this fair value gap that was left, which was like always something that I was anticipating. But mm, this price action where prices are rejected so beautifully off of these lows, this is more or less trap price action basically, because both highs and the lows are being rejected. Price basically trapped, no clear flow of price, and this is what I was looking for as well. On the 4 hour, we did get a very beautiful change in structure, leaving behind fair value gaps. Uh, got a sweep here, and should have closed my trade here maybe, but yeah, I held on to it and got stopped out eventually. But yeah, I basically I have no clue what's going on with the ETH, because Bitcoin, even if you look at it on the daily as compared to ETH, Bitcoin looks fairly bullish. I mean, ETH doesn't look that bad either, but on the daily time frame, it doesn't look like it's going towards the upside. Each sweep is not being held at all. Like this sweep is not being held. This sweep is not being held. These sweeps are not held that strongly. As compared to Bitcoin, sweeps are more or less being respected. Sweep of the prices are more or less being respected. That yes, price is reacting off of it basically. Ethereum looks more or less very weak against Bitcoin, as we can see on the ETH BTC chart as well. Just keeps on going down. Ethereum dominance against Bitcoin. We need to see maybe a deviation of these lows on the monthly at least. Weekly isn't possible at all. On the monthly, I want to see something here. This price has just kept on trickling down. Sorry, the ETH against BTC chart has been. It's. And I think it's due. ETH outperforming and other altcoins outperforming BTC is due. As we saw on Solana, Sol USD, yesterday it was like a 26% rise, 20% rise. Today it was like up by 13-14%. Now it's like 6% up. But yes, a lot of profit booking will happen here, at least above these highs. And it was due on the weekly, swept these lows and just blasted. Didn't even give me a chance to get a entry in this because it barely corrected after forming this change in order flow very strongly. It just kept on going higher and higher, and I think it's due in ETH USD. I don't know when it will come, but it is due. And we are going to see a very strong movement, maybe strong enough to like cover the entire range, 20, 30%, 30% maybe across a week might not be that big a deal after such tight consolidation where we haven't even seen new highs on ETH form yet. Something to look forward to. And with this, we are coming towards the end of this weekly outlook. Hopefully, you liked it. Hopefully, you got some value out of this. Hopefully, you really loved my work. And not even that. I hope that this will help you gain something, anything out of it. And if you did like my work, please check my other videos on my YouTube channel, or even check out my other socials where I constantly post content on X, on Instagram, and yeah, that's all. Till then, happy trading. Take care. Bye.